What's up, everybody? Welcome back to M Hood Fishing. It has been raining all day. It is now just a little bit after 10 p.m. Still raining a little bit. We might be coming right back in here. Maybe not. I got rain gear. This is Kieran's truck. 3 rods. It's all about trout. Come on, let's go. You think I forgot you? Look at this. It's raining. So I have my power station. I have my big light. As Kieran asked, is it waterproof? I would say water resistant rather than waterproof. So I think what we're going to do, y'all, is put those things back in the truck and some other things back in the truck because it's raining just a little too much for some of these things. I've already got my baits on my rod, so just my bucket is all I really need right now. But I might need, I need a lanyard. That's what I need. I need some rope. I got some rope right here. There we go. Rope for my bucket. Is that a fish coming in? Yeah. That's a fish coming in. Nice. Look at that. Whoa, Kieran, you've got a deep leader on underneath this cork.
Yeah.
There you go, buddy.
Fishing deep leader.
Even though it's raining, you can still catch fish. You just have to have the constitution to fish in the rain. Rain gear helps too. I think I'm going to put the jacket on, but not the pants. And we'll be running some big lights when the weather's a little more appealing. All right. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get water in my bucket. This rain is starting to come down thicker. It was pretty warm earlier in the day. It was in the 70s, but as we get deeper into the evening, the temperature has been coming down. By the time we hit midnight, it's going to be in the low 60s. It's in the mid 60s right now, but in between midnight, 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning, somewhere in that 2-hour frame, 2-3 hour frame, I should say, the wind speed is going to change. It's going probably by like 2 a.m. we're going to be at like 14, 15, but gusting like what, 20, 30 miles an hour. So hopefully we can get some good fishing done before that hurly-burly stuff. And then with that wind, even more temperature drop down to like 45 or less. All right, I got my bucket of water. Bleed fish. Under the cork, a popping cork. My leader right now is not as deep as his. It's a little over 2 feet, but I'm gonna use a tiger bait by Matrix. It's a Matrix shad, 1/4 ounce jig. We'll see if he's doing a lot better than me with that deeper leader, I'll change it. You think that's a nicer one? That's what you get when you're fishing gulp. It's got a channel cat. Wind, wind, wind. It's already picking up and it's not even that late. About 4 feet is what it's going to be now. things don't feel great to me at the moment because it's getting windy. It's not super late, but it is super windy. Oh, I'm sorry, I dropped that rod on your rods. But we're focused on lights now, so that might be what makes it happen. Lights. But here at these particular lights, we're exposed to the wind. I'm seeing whitecaps out there. Not happening here. Let's get out of the wind.
It's super hard to tell what the tide's doing now.
Yeah. Might not seem better, the wind anyway. Maybe it's not. I think it's a little bit better. Ah. I picked this up right as I was about to bring the cork out of the water. Look at that. Oh, I thought coming to the lights would pay off. I caught a flat trout. Nice solid hookup too. I gotta let this go though. Nice flounder. Let's go show this to Kieran real quick. I wanted to show this to you so you don't have to wait till the video comes out. You were so far away when I caught it.
Nice one.
Yeah. Yep. Whoa! Kickback. Well, it paid off coming here. This is my second fish in about 10 minutes, but it's a rat red. Nice looking. Whoa! Settle down, Hoss.
What are you using?
Fire Tiger, matrix shad, about 4 feet underneath the cork, and both fish, flounder and rat red, right off the rocks here. Right in here and around the corner where it's darker. There's a bit of light over there where I just was. Oh, that's almost, that might be close to a keeper.
Might be.
Might be. You want to use an actual tape real quick?
Yeah, you can keep them if you want to. But I don't think you will.
I got a tape, but not on me. In my pack. I think it's close. It's gonna be close. It's gonna be close. It's gonna be real close. I have a feeling that we should check because we are wanting to keep fish. You might be right. He's not gonna make it, but it's gonna be really close. Oh no! Guess who's right?
Wow.
I'm right.
You're right.
Yeah, you're right. But you keep it.
He's just on 18.
Are you keeping fish? Oh, okay. Okay. Right there. Pierce the brain, and we're gonna cut the gill where he bleeds out. We'll do both sides, and then this is what the water's for. To bleed out quicker, you turn them upside down, in a bucket. Let's go to another spot. This is the next spot, my kitchen. So when Karen called me tonight, I was actually in the middle of cooking dinner. As you see, I have not cleaned up. There's my curry. I made Japanese curry over rice. And I made steak fingers. Every time I'm in the kitchen, she looks at me like I'm in here cooking for her. And she just got out of the kitchen because she knows she's not supposed to be in here when I'm in here doing stuff, even though we got to walk through the kitchen to get out of here. So, yeah, I've already had dinner, but I'm a little hungry. It is late. It's just around 2:45 in the morning, and all you can hear in here is traffic. Like starting around 2 a.m. it is just busy with traffic streaming through here, and it's going to go on like that for a while. So that's what we're going to hear while I prepare my fish, because like in the title, that's right, sashimi. We're doing redfish sashimi. That's because Karen wasn't keeping fish, and he gave me his fish because it was 18 inches, just like I called it. I was like, oh, we should measure that. I think that's 18 inches. So yeah, let me clean up the kitchen and then get to work here. Of course, I need a cup of tea. That tea right there. Let's get that kettle going. If I would have known that I was going to fish tonight, I would have made sushi rice ahead of time, but I did not know. I wasn't expecting Karen to call. So in my rice cooker over there, I have some leftover rice from my dinner. But yeah, sushi rice I would make ahead of time and let it cool down before using it. So we're just going to do sashimi tonight. I've never had redfish sashimi before, and yes, it is safe. It's a saltwater fish, and it is a fish that people love. I've heard good reviews. They love it for sashimi and sushi. If you're not familiar with what the difference between sashimi and sushi, basically, I'll put it this way. Sashimi is without the rice. It's just the fish. I thought I was going to come home and eat leftovers, because let me tell you, doing steak fingers the way I did them, tempura with breadcrumb, wow. It came out great, especially with the Japanese curry and the rice. Yeah, you're right. So I've been studying for many years Japanese fishing, Japanese culture, lots of things, all things Japanese, because I want to go fish there and I want to have a good experience, and therefore I've been also studying Japanese, learning to speak it. Well, I don't know how good I can say I can speak it right now, but it's early days. So I've been studying Japanese cooking, and we'll just say that tonight is a practice run. Gotta start somewhere. Oh, hold on. Something's calling me away from this labor. Let's get the hands deacidified. He was calling me with that also familiar whisper. I don't like kettles that whistle. I prefer them to whisper. That way people don't know that you're making a cup of tea and they don't come knocking on the door. Alright, I'm just going to let that steep. I'm sure someone somewhere out there is freaking out, thinking, oh my goodness, what sacrilege. You had beef with curry? You're not supposed to do that. Japanese curry, remember? You can do that with Japanese curry. It's India where they don't eat cows. And I'm not in India. Some people do this, some people don't do this. Some people do this too many times over and over. This oil can be reused, but I wouldn't reuse it too many times. Big thanks to Kieran for kicking this down. It's got a bit of grass on it and stuff. I'm gonna give it a wash, not a whoop. Oh, that's not level, but that's fine. It's not fine. That's level though. It's the upside down potato peeler doing the job. Sometimes redfish are not easy to scale, but I need to scale this to be able to fillet it better for what I'm doing, and some other things that I want to do with other parts of this, including the skin, but that'll be later on when I do that. Some people prefer to do this outside because they don't want to make a mess. I'm going to get scales in places where I might not want to get scales, but the more careful I am, slower I go, but steady, right? The less of a mess I'm going to make, and I'll just make sure that I clean up pretty good. I might not get it grandma clean, or I don't know, maybe some people have a grandma that doesn't clean very well. All things are possible, but I will get things fairly clean. But let me get this fairly scaled. I'm just feeling around now to see if I've missed anything, because I've made up my mind. I am using most of this fish in this video. I'm going to sashimi at least half of it, and then we're going to use most of it, but probably save some of it for another time outside of this video, right? But because I'm using a lot of it, I don't want any scales. I want to make sure I get all the scales off. We will be cooking the head in this video, so we want to make sure that we get the scales off the head as best we can. If you look, stop making that noise, cutting board. There's going to be a little bit on the head, and it takes a little bit of effort. Just to get them off. But in case you're curious, fish scales are digestible, just they're not that pleasant to eat because they're chewy, and yeah. So the little tiny ones I wouldn't worry about. It's like the bigger ones, whatever you can get off, get off. Definitely under here is where people don't usually pay attention because they're not eating this bit. So we want to make sure we get all the big ones off, all the big scales. You can actually, like, when you catch something like speckled trout, people do like to scale them, but you don't necessarily need to. White trout, but definitely freshwater trout, you can eat those. Don't worry about scaling freshwater trout unless you're weirded out. But to be clear, you never make sashimi or sushi out of freshwater fish. There's some scales right here. See them coming off? The reason why you don't do that with freshwater fish is because freshwater fish are going to be, there's a possibility of pests, lost it for a second. I'm kind of tired. Parasites and bacteria. Those are the two reasons why you never make sushi or sashimi out of freshwater fish. And then someone always brings up, well, what about salmon? Salmon live in salt water and freshwater. So, saltwater salmon, yes, they're safe. And there's something they do to salmon too, right? But this is totally safe. and it's a pretty decent sushi or sashimi grade, but there are some saltwater fish that are just a little too soft to do sashimi or sushi, but there are certain things you can do. But we'll get to that bridge and we'll cross it when we get to it. There are parts of this fish that I do not want. I'm not planning on cooking. And I am pulling those out. Like the guts. There are some fish in some places. In some places, some people with some fish will eat the internal organs. We are not in one of those places. Some people may get the heebie-jeebies from eating raw fish. I kind of draw it at innards. Usually, anyway. Wow. Very interesting. For many, many years, I've just done it the easy way, right? Didn't even scale the fish, didn't gut it, just take the fillet right off and then take it right off the skin. Take it off the body and then take it off the skin. I need to start eating skin. Some fish skin isn't very appealing to me. Other fish skin is. The gills are another thing I don't want. They could possibly make it bitter because I am using the head. So I want to pull the gills out. There they are in the sink. The esophagus, what was left of it, came out with them. Not easy to do with scissors. When I see people do this, they're usually using a big knife. And I don't have a big butcher knife. Got a big machete. There we go. Could leave it like this, but I kind of would prefer to just put it in halves, cut it in two. And I must admit, not quite as easy as I would like it to be with these kitchen shears. And I'm not using my fillet knife for this because it will chip the blade because of the bones. There we go. We'll give that a rinse and put it to the side. cutting a wet fish. They slip and slide all over the place. Here we go. What's that? You hear that? You hear that? What are you doing in the kitchen, by the way? It sounded like we had an attic all of a sudden. Like there was little people running up there. Maybe it's the cats, Tulsa, on the porch. Maybe it was the neighbors. Okay. Now we're gonna start from the bottom, because I know I can get tighter doing it that way. If I don't do the best job at filleting, in this instance, I want to say it's going to be okay, only because I plan on cooking this using the whole fish. But like I said, probably just going to sashimi one fillet and cook what's left after I take the second fillet off, but keep the second fillet for a meal later. Not in this video. This is coming out actually quite nicely. Super fresh too. Here we are at the end. I know trained sushi chefs would have had this whole thing done and on the plate by now. Here we go. This is what I'm doing. Riding that rib cage down. I see sushi people, sushi chefs, doing this with different kinds of knives, right? Bigger knives. And they like to cut right through, hack right through the rib cage. I'm not doing that with this particular knife. It is not of that grade. Okay, so there we go. We got one fillet off. It looks fairly nice. Now we gotta, yeah, but let's get a second one sitting next to it. So these two pieces right here, that's the belly, right? And some bone. And this is everything without the fillet and the belly. What we're going to do to make this fit is what I'm doing right now. There we go. This has to get going before anything else. And that is some sesame oil. As you can see where it's from. Got some heat under that. Let that do its thing. I'm getting some things out. It's garlic. Good smells. I'm turning the heat down a little bit right now. We're going to add some hon dashi. This is instant fish stock. It's just going to beef it up a little bit without beef. So what this is mostly, it has dried flakes of bonita in it, but not the bonita you're thinking of, because this is a product of Japan. In Japan, when they say bonita, they mean skipjack tuna. It has salt in it as well. It's not the bonita that we know from the Gulf, but similar, right? They do have some fish in the Pacific around Japan that we have in the Gulf of Mexico here, such as some grouper. They have Goliath grouper there, but then they have mini grouper that we don't have, and they have thousands of fish that we don't have in their seas and oceans around Japan. Imagine familiarizing yourself with all their names, right? So we want to add some water. That's 1.5 cups right there, but I gotta keep going. That's another 1.5 cups. One more time. Final 1.5 cups. This is miso paste. This particular one, let's get to the label here. This has bonito in it as well, and salt. Hopefully this doesn't end up being too salty. I'm not adding salt. I'm adding salt in the products I've added, but I'm not adding straight salt. As this heats up, because I just put cold water in it, as it heats up to a boil, I'm going to slowly stir it, right? And then let's just get to that bridge and cross it. But that is the idea. Slowly stir that miso in and bring it back up to a boil. You can see the steam rising already. That water's getting hot. But I forgot something. I forgot about these. So sashimi fillet, later fillet. But there's something I want to add to my soup. Later fillet, skin for the soup. Oh no, I messed it up, Tulsa. Can you fix it? I told you I might not get it perfect, but pretty close. But it's not that big of a deal. It's not a waste, because more for the soup. Okay, so that is coming to a boil. And that's about what I want to see. A nice boil. And now I am going to, yep, it's boiling. Put the lid back on and bring my heat down, because I just want that to sit here and simmer for a while I make something of my mistakes. Okay, so this is something that is new to me. I've eaten sashimi and sushi before, but never prepared it. But I've been watching videos. They all have subtitles. Fishing videos where they do this in the end. And in most of them, it seems they cut down the middle. We're gonna flip it, and then you see this red stuff right here. I believe I want to trim that off. Cleanest as possible, right? Maybe I should do both fillets. I think that's a plan. We're gonna eat this whole fish tonight. Well, okay. I've seen plenty of videos that show me that if you think everyone who lives in Japan is automatically a sushi chef. You got another thing coming. Lots of people prepare their own sashimi and sushi there, but they're not all perfect. I've seen dudes who in one video did a perfect job, right? And then in another video, not so perfect. And I am new. When I cannot fish and I'm stuck inside because the weather's bad or I'm sick, I'm cutting these really thin. I'm always studying something, or I'm working on things in the house related to the channel, or working on things related to the channel online. But I have always, ever since I was a child, enjoyed studying things, but not always so much in school. Usually on my own time, and subjects of my own choice. Whoa! The ring light is failing, by the way. So we're kind of in the dark. So like I was talking about earlier, at the moment, one of my favorite things, and oh, there's the ring light back in action for us. I have just been soaking up everything Japanese, including the language. In my opinion, if you're going to go somewhere, another country where they don't speak English and the customs are fully, totally different than where you're from, you're going to have the best experience if you learn as much as you can. You'll get a lot more respect. I think that's fine right there. A lot more respect if you can at least speak some of the language. But you'll definitely understand a lot more. We're going to do both fillets. Why not? The only thing I'm wasting tonight is a Ziploc bag. So again, we want to just trim the things off that we don't want to eat. You might be wondering, when is Imhood going to Japan? Imhood is going to Japan when Imhood is ready to go to Japan. There are two big reasons why I'm not going there tomorrow. One of them is in the kitchen. Oop. I bet you anything, the more I do this, the better I get. It's not really the more videos you watch, the better you get. You watch the videos, you see what the people are doing it, how they're doing it. You get in the kitchen or you get on the water with the rod in your hand and you try what you learned. You have to become comfortable with it. But you do need the knowledge that they have to give. I watch a lot of Japanese fishing videos that are not marketed towards an English-speaking audience. You have to turn on the subtitles on YouTube if they are available for that video, and they are available for a lot of videos, but they're automatic subtitles. And back in the day, it was just gobbledygook because it's automatically translating the video, whatever foreign language it's in, translating it to your language or whatever language you choose to have it translated to. And back in the day, it was not 100% accurate. It's a lot better these days, so you can actually understand what they're saying. That's how I'm getting better at identifying fish, learning fish names there. And then I can like research that fish and learn even more. It's hard to research a fish that you're watching someone catch if you don't know what that fish is called. But once you have that fish's name, even if it is in Japanese, that is somewhere to start. And there we go. We just need that little space in the center there for obvious reasons. Wasabi. That's the obvious reason. Yeah, you're right. Do you say grace at the table before you have a meal? I like to. I am going to say it in Japanese. Itadakimasu. Yeah, you're right. It says, thank you. Yeah, you're right. All right, so what we want to do, got this wasabi in the middle of the plate. Put the chopsticks on the bowl like that. Little soy sauce. See, I got one of these. When I went out to give a little bit of something to the cats, I realized what Tulsa and I were hearing, because it kept going on during the shoot in the kitchen. It sounded like mumpkins running around in the attic, but there is no attic here. It's gusting up to 30 miles an hour out there. And with the wind chill, it's down in the 40s. And as we go through the day, because, man, what time is it? It sounds like it's late out there, right? Like early morning traffic. And it is early morning traffic. It is 6:02 a.m. Whew. This is like breakfast. We've had so much time go by. I am hungry, so I'm glad I went ahead and made everything. But let's see what it tastes like, because I'm so psyched. When I was coming back, because, you know, real close by, I can just nip across and get a Sprite. I saw my neighbor. He was just got off shift, getting home from working all night. And he asked me, "Aren't you cold?" And I said, "No, I'm just really psyched because of this. My first time eating redfish as sashimi." Ooh, that wasabi. Whew. That's... Hold on. Wow. That is a very clean flavor. I gotta tell you. I'm gonna try this piece that's been soaking in that soy sauce. Nice texture. Little mild hints of the ocean. Wow. That would make good ceviche. Very fresh. I think this was the perfect size. Kieran said it a bunch of times, a few times. I would not do this with a bigger one, bigger than 18. I'd prefer to do this with a 16-inch, but I can't, legally anyway. Woo! Oh! Cats. Cats. There's a new cat in town. Just showed up. Young male. There's 2 black cats now. They ain't getting along. The flavor keeps getting better the more I eat. But I know you don't want to sit here and watch me eat all this. I got half the mind to make it because I don't want to stop eating. That's just what I mean. I'm hungry. Very good. Curious about my soup. I haven't tasted my soup yet. Okay. Let's see what the soup tastes like real quick. Got a spoon. Just want to taste the broth. I'm gonna say mild. Doesn't taste like the sashimi, even though I think that's a mild flavor. Not very strong, not fishy at all, that sashimi. But the soup, it's got that miso flavor and a very nice fish broth, but not like a strong fish stock, because we would need to, well, maybe about the same. But it doesn't taste fishy. It's very mild. It's very nice. Given that it's chilly outside, it's pleasant and complements the sashimi. Ooh, the green onion goes good with it too. Oh, excuse me. I recently had a cold and I'm still kind of getting over it. Seemed a little risky to be going out when a front's coming in, but I really wanted to fish. Couldn't fish yesterday because of rain and bad weather, and after I just too much time stuck in the house lately anyway. That is good. Now I'm like pulling flesh off the head. Cheek flesh. Bone. Ooh. Very pleasant, very mild. Is it mild because of the redfish, or mild because I didn't put a lot of dashi in here and I didn't put a lot of miso? It may look like it, but you gotta consider the amount of water that I put in, the size of dish I made. Nothing's overpowering anything. The miso's not overpowering the fish, and vice versa. It's not too salty. I worry sometimes when I'm adding miso and dashi that I'm gonna end up with it too salty. Oh, I must say though, in comparison to each other, because I added dashi in here, this has more notes of the ocean. I mean, it tastes like a fish soup. I think without the dashi, it wouldn't taste as much like a fish soup as it does if I just had made soup with just the head and maybe some vegetables or whatever. But I didn't want an overcomplicated soup. The only vegetable in here is the green onion, and that's really just a after effect. This is really just about getting more protein and having something hot come into your body, right? Because it's cold. It's great for the morning time, even though technically I've been up all night and I need to go to sleep soon. Oh. I know. There's people out there, I don't want to watch you eat. But there's people who do. And that wasabi has opened up my sinuses. A lot of times when I've been sick with a cold, or I have hay fever, or some kind of sinus problems, like recently I've been having sinus problems, some wasabi. Woo! That's what you need. That's what I need anyway. Kick it right out. Open it up. Starts coming out. Woo! The plumbing starts to work again, right? Now, are you wondering if I think this is as good as... It's a wasabi that I'm shivering for. Do you think I should let you know if I think it is as good as, you know, like, give some kind of comparison to another fish? Okay, I'll do that. This is in no way, no shape or form comparable to tuna or salmon. It's more like other whitefish. Because I know it's called a redfish, but it's actually a white meat. Maybe it's the way I cut it or whatever, but it's not like melting in my mouth. It does have, it's a slightly chewy, but not over chewy. It's not like I've made sashimi out of gar. Would I do it again? Yes. I want to do ceviche with it. I think that would be great. I think a kind of a chunky fish paste with miso with this would be good, but I think I would rather do it with a softer fish. Hint, hint as to what may be coming. nori rolls. Yeah, it's just another way to eat fish, and it's safe. I would say this is a decent fish to do sashimi or sushi with, and because you're not cooking it, you're getting more protein. But another thing you got to think of is you're getting all the stuff that maybe you cook out when you cook it. So you're getting stuff like if it has mercury in it, which hopefully it probably does, but hopefully it doesn't have a high level of mercury. But there are stories out there, times when someone was eating too much sushi, not in a day, but like every day for a period of time. Like that's all they were eating. There's some actor who did this to himself. He just like, that's all that made him happy was sushi, so he ate it every day, and he ended up with mercury poisoning. You're not gonna get that if you eat a redfish once a week, sashimi or sushi. You would have to eat a lot every day for a bit, and it would be likely, but not all fish have these huge levels of stuff. But you can't escape these things. There's gonna be something, but in moderation. It's all good. We hope, right? All right. I tell you what, I feel like I started a journey. I know I have, a long time ago. I didn't tell anybody about it much. But in this video, totally different. Maybe a little long-winded, maybe it's a little long. Maybe I'm just a little too hungry. But I'm psyched. First time ever preparing my own sashimi. I can't remember if I've ever made soup with the head of a fish. I think I have. I've made soup for y'all, for the dogs, that way. Yeah, I think I have in the past. Yes, I have. I've cooked the heads before. But here I am with it in the bowl in front of me. I got an eyeball staring at me right there. I'm plucking at the meat. I'm having a good time. Ooh. And I'm slurping like I should be. My goodness. It is good. Yeah, you're right. Come on. We're gonna keep going. But not in this video. Oh, we're not supposed to do that. Never do that if you're in Japan. Do that. Because this is like chopsticks sticking up out of a bowl. Too much, too close to a funeral tradition. Same thing with passing food from one person to another, from chopstick to chopstick. That's why people look at you weird in a Japanese restaurant in Japan when you do that, because that's a funeral thing. So don't do that in the restaurant. It's like chopstick etiquette. Yeah, you're right. We're gonna keep doing stuff like this. I'm just, oh, but I have to say, thanks for watching, liking, sharing, commenting, subscribing, being a member of the channel. And yeah, I'll see you next time.